Hello and welcome to another post-match review, this time of United's uh, 2-1 victory over Viktoria Pilzen. And I did not think at halftime that we would be talking about 3 points and a win in this game because, quite honestly, up until maybe 65 minutes, that was one of the worst games I've seen United play. The first half was easily the worst we've played under Ruben Amorim so far. Some absolutely awful performers that I will get to in a moment. But it was really bad. It was really bad. And yeah, it was bad. It was terrible that first half. It's hard to point out what's exactly wrong. A lot of individual performers were bad, but let's have a go at it, and then I'll bring up some stats and things and show to kind of demonstrate this point. But this is my take on the game. One, I think we're bad. I think we're much better with inverted fullbacks, with opposite fullbacks, wingbacks in Amorim's system, right? We've seen that a lot. I think we're much better there. I think Ahmad, I said before that I thought he would be way more influential as a wingback than he would be as a 10. I think that was really clear today. Really had a hard time getting involved in the first half. Did not get on the ball nearly as much as he usually does. And we missed his technical qualities in those wide areas to help us build out from the back, get through the thirds, and get territory in the final third. We really missed that. I think we missed that a lot. And I think Malacia and Dallo were absolutely terrible. Not the only ones, but I think they were really bad today. Like really bad. It was so bad from Dallo on that right side, in fact, that when Anthony came on to that right side, he helped us. And that's why I say we looked a lot better with an inverted. Anthony made us a better team today. Now, he still is who he is. He did a bunch of bozo shots into the stands, losing the ball in terrible areas. But just his profile did it. And now I want to think about that for a moment because it dawned on me as we got to the end of the game when I realized and said, we've given the other team nothing. We've played like shit and we've given them nothing. For a long time, I would sit here in games and after games and we look at it and think we won because of a moment from a player. For under Ollie, under Ten Hag, under a lot of them, we won because of a moment from a player. We got lucky. Or, we relied on that individual brilliance, which we've talked about a lot, right? And now I'm looking at a game where individually I thought we were really bad for the most part. Almost every player who started this game I thought was individually not great. But defensively, gave them virtually nothing all game. Onana makes a mistake that leads to their goal. That was one of 2 shots they had on target the entire game. And that was more than 80% of their XG, which I'll show in a moment. And so it leads me to conclude, even though it's frustrating, that so far from Ruben Amorim, we're seeing the system prop us up, which is what we want, right? That's the reason you have a system. That's the reason you want a style of play, is it brings your floor, your baseline up to where you can be better. And the system protects you, even when the players themselves are not executing as well as you want them to be. My expectation when Amorim was appointed, and I think I said this on Monday and said this last week, is that when he got in, we would start to get better defensively and we would struggle to score goals. And I think that's what we're seeing so far. The first half was, in possession, just terrible. Because in possession, it was fully attempting to go back to launching transition football, really slow, no dynamic. There were no overlaps. There was no runs in through once we were getting into any sort of territory. It was just everybody sitting around the ball, walking around. We don't know what to do if we're not attacking on the break. We don't know what to do. And I thought that was really poor. I think that was probably Rashford's worst half as a United player in his entire career. I think that the first half from Bruno was terrible. I thought he gave the ball away way too much and kept pushing it rather than, doing it. And he would refuse to make runs in behind too. He would refuse the overlap, refuse the inverted run. I did not like that at all. I thought Ahmad was struggling to get involved. We kept just honking it up to Xerxes and having the ball bounce off of him to where he would just keep losing it over and over and over again. Even though for a few moments he was trying to do the right things, that didn't work. So in possession, it looked like a team that is learning something new, that has no idea what to do. Defensively, the system protects us. It was the first game where the back three, I don't think there were any substitutions. And we were solid at the back, really under no threat at the back. They shut everything down. Even though I don't think the midfield was very good, I don't think it gave us control. We were solid at the back, and I think just the way that we're playing at least is keeping the pressure off us. And that's one of the things I noted at Sporting. Even when they turned the ball over, the system would protect them because you always have a numbers advantage defensively. And we did. We always had a numbers advantage defensively. If you watch that game back, you'll see that too. No matter what happened, even if it was a shit turnover, a bad play, we always had a numbers advantage defensively. And so for me, it's kind of going how I expected. And that was a really tough watch. I'm not going to lie. I that was one of the toughest games to watch. I thought it was really poor. But as it continued to go on and I started to assess it a bit further, that's how I was seeing it. That it was kind of going how I thought it would. And it's going to take a lot of time to fix this. That defensively, we're start to get good. And against Forest, I don't think defensively we were bad. We conceded on a set piece and two huge mistakes, right? From Onana, Bruno, and such, right? Huge mistakes. It wasn't like defensively we were bad. We were actually quite good. So I think we're seeing that, but our in possession ideas look chaotic. When the subs came on, they improved that dramatically. Anthony, Dallo moving to the other side, Anthony over there, they helped us get possession and move through the second, third a lot better. Mason Mount and Rasmus Højlund provided a really good dynamic of runners into the box, right? Where they were actually manipulating the back line a lot better. A lot better. So fair play to them. You know, Højlund gets a couple of goals. Mason Mount got two really good chances, and they're created because of his movement, because of his running, because of his dragging of defenders. You know, if he could finish, it would be great, obviously. But I thought he did a really, really good job with that. And so those are players where I see that they were getting it. You know, they're getting it on what we need to do. And to be fair to Bruno, in the last 15 minutes, you know, he had the cross across the Højlund. He had the pass in through that got the second goal from the set piece. I still thought he was bad around that. He missed a bunch of passes, kept turning it over right afterwards. And I don't rate that this aspect of like, sometimes it comes off, but the rest of the time it's putting us under pressure and not allowing us to control the game. But it is what it is. He still got the pass through. We still got the win. That's good. Manuel Ugarte, when he came on, completely fixed the midfield. Winning the ball back. He kept winning it back, recovering it easier. Looked like he positioned and knew where to go. Very important player for us. He's going to be. Obviously, the back line got a lot of rest. But yeah, you know, the subs made a big difference. And let's take a look, and I kind of show that here. When we look at the stats overall, so, you know, starting with the attacking momentum, you can see that in the first half we had the ball a lot, but we never got any sort of penetrative runs. We just kept losing it. And we were bereft of ideas, right? And then we gave up this chance, and then after the first half, Onana made that mistake. And if we look at the first half, 71% possession, but we did nothing with it. Absolutely nothing at all. We give up that goal. We're still bad. Then we make subs, right? Then we make subs. Mount, Anthony, and Højlund come in for, who was it? Rashford. Who all was that? Højlund came on first for Rashford. And then Anthony and Mount came on for Malacia and Xerxes. And they changed the game for us. They really did. They changed it dramatically. We then scored a nice goal, a nice move between Anthony, Ahmad and Højlund, and it was all the right types of movements in the box, a goal that was repeatable. And I'll tell you why it was repeatable, because we did it again and again afterwards. And look at the second half, 2.5 expected goals created. They got, you can see their goal, 0.51 was off of the mistake from Onana. So that means in the second half, they made 0.1 XG. And all game, they only made 0.26 outside of that error. So you can see defensively, we were incredibly solid then in preventing opportunities, even with the performance not being that good. And I think that's a real valuable thing. When you look at the shape, it's this gets mixed because Dallo switched to the other side, right? So he was out here wide, the back five, and the solidity of protecting the middle, right? Look at all this in the middle. Just doesn't give up many chances. Even when you're not playing well, it doesn't give up many chances. And when you made the substitutes, again, the middle is protected, but it allowed us to get more forward and invert. And this way we were able to control the ball better. Højlund making getting forward instead of dropping in helped to stretch the back line more, which meant Mason Mount could get into the right positions, which meant Ahmad could get in the right positions. That made a big, big difference for me. And you can see that then we started to completely dominate play from top to bottom until the end of the game, where we finally got our goal at 88 minutes and 1. And again, Mason Mount, like I said, he got in those positions. Look at this. Right here, Rasmus missed 1.24. Mason Mount missed 1.66 XG. These were good repeated opportunities. And then Mount got another one over here at 0.13 just before we scored again. So these are not accidents. This was not down to individual brilliance that we won. If anything, it was the individual badness, the reason why we weren't winning so well as we should have. And for me, that's a real positive takeaway from this. And why I said when Amorim came in, I'm backing whatever he wants. And whatever we need to do to follow through on getting this system in place. And whoever needs to go to make that happen needs to go. Whoever needs to fit to make that happen needs to fit. And if I look at the team so far and the play and all of that, my assessment is that, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Maguire, and Yoro are 4 center backs that you can rely on. Lissandro, I thought, had a better game today, but he's been concerning at times. So I would say those 4 you can rely on and mix and match them into the system. In the midfield, I think Ugarte is absolutely key, and I think Kobbie Mainoo will continue to grow into that position. I think in the wide areas, you've got to get Ahmad back out here. You've got to have an inverted fullback on this side, and we need to buy a left back really bad. And so hopefully, obviously, Diego Leon is a part of solving that problem with one of 2 players. And then in the front line, as to who fits it, Rasmus and Mount. I think Rasmus and Mount are the only 2 players that I would say consistently have performed really well. Really well. Like Mount, I wouldn't necessarily say performed really well but he gets it. So he needs to step up. He needs to finish those chances because he's getting in the right opportunities. His pressing has been integral to us doing well when he's on the pitch. Whatever the reason is, we sustain a lot more pressure when he's playing, right? Because he understands the movements, he understands the actions. He just needs to start being able to finish some chances. Honestly, that's all that it would take for Mount to become a key part of this team. There's a lot of players who aren't getting it. Rashford is not getting it. Even though he scored a couple of goals, this was really bad. A couple goals against Everton. This was a really bad performance, and he struggled a lot in this, in a lot of games. Xerxes really hit or miss as well, right? Malacia isn't it. Dallo has been awful for me. Just absolutely terrible. Made Anthony look good today. Casemiro, I think, was well off of it. And these ratings are kind of funny because I thought Casemiro had a pretty bad game, honestly. Bruno is questionable. I thought he was really bad deep. Once we got in control of the game and are dominating territory more, where he was operating here, he does better. From here, terrible for me. And that's the issue that I have with him. I don't like these shots. I don't like 75% possession on 111 touches from deep, because you lose the ball 27 times from a deep area does not allow you to sustain attacks. But once you get into the attacking areas, it's a lot better. But for all of this, there's only 0.5 on the expected assists. He needs to do more. It needs to be better. It needs to be allow us to take control. So yes, I don't know. Maybe you play Bruno, Mount, and Højlund in the front three for now, because to be fair to him, he's still better than what Rashford and Garnacho have been doing on that side, and definitely better than this. So maybe if you keep Bruno in the front three, I'll be a lot happier. Bruno, Mount, Højlund is probably our three best players in that front position right now. And then keep Ahmad over here, and as I said, on the other players. But yeah, it is really interesting to see this. I was really negative about it, and then towards the end of the game, I started realizing we're getting control, and with the system, we're protecting the team more. We're not winning because of individuals anymore. We're almost losing because of individuals, and winning because of the system. And I think that's really what's happening. So I think Ruben will again learn a lot from this, right? I think Ruben will again learn a lot from this about who to play, and I think start to tweak and adjust again in his starting 11, especially in the front three, because I think what your best back 8 are right now, and Onana needs to fix up. These mistakes are completely unacceptable. One I can get on missing a save. That was fucking horrible today. Unacceptable to make those mistakes. You cannot, period. You just can't. So the credit in the bank for me is gone. That's it. I defended him on the last one. No, that's it. It's over. You've lost that credit now. That one mistake was it. You can't make two. You just can't. But anyway, that's my view. I think that it's working, and I think as we build up the team towards where we want it to be, replace the players who don't fit, whoever they may be, and continue with this. But I see the system starting to get in there, and now it's like how I thought. It's now we're going to have to work on the attacking patterns, because we're starting to see, and we'll see more of it, the solidity in possession, the solidity in defense. We've probably had more possession in the last 5 games under Amorim than we've had in years, I would guess. I'll go look up a stat for that after this, but I would be surprised if we've ever had more possession since probably Van Gaal or something, but even then. But we've had a lot. We've had control. We're not conceding as many chances from defending. Just mostly mistakes. The last couple of games, individual mistakes have cost us chances, but the defending, the setup itself has been really good. So yeah, fix up on the errors and really figure out how to sustain pressure and attack properly, and keep making some of those chances we made in the second half with Mount and Højlund, because those are repeatable. Those are ones you can make time and time again. The overlaps, the underlaps, the late box runs, that we can do time and time again, and I want to see more of it. So hopefully we get a strong team on Sunday with Ugarte, with Mount, with maybe with Mainu, with hopefully Mason Mount. I think he deserves a start. Lenny Yoro. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe then we get Mazraoui into one of the wing-back positions, and that would help too. Okay, that's what I have for this post-game. I'll be back with a live tomorrow, and we'll talk about all this some more. Thanks for watching. See you later.